Yes, he's been a major film star for over 30 years. He's been in The Saint, Maverick, The Persuaders, James Bond. Not bad for a copper's son. Roger Moore. Comfy, make yourself comfy. Now then, I mean, your dad, I didn't know he was a copper.
What do you mean you didn't know he was a copper?
Well, I've just found out, reading notes about that, your dad was a policeman, is that right?
PC 168E, Bow Street.
You remember the number?
Of course I do.
I also read that he was a magician. What did that mean?
Well, he was an amateur magician. He was very good. He was wonderful. Well, actually, he was terrific. He called himself Haphazard the Hazy Wizard. but he was brilliant because he never bought a trick. He would go to masculine and advance where they demonstrated tricks, and we would watch it. He was very clever, and my father, he is alive. I mean, he's not.
Is he not still doing his little tricks?
No, he's not doing his tricks anymore.
Mm. Well, we won't talk about that.
I was actually the last trick he performed. No, but he would go along and he'd watch how they do a trick and go home and make it, because he was brilliant with his hands. You
were born in, was it not Stockwell, but...
Stockwell. It's not Stockwell anymore, it's now called Snockwell. Yeah? Snockwell. It's a little north of Clark.
Oh, really?
It used to be Clapham. But then I went to school in St Wreatham.
But then, you see, you wouldn't talk like that now. I mean, like what you did then.
I didn't speak like that.
Did you
then.
never...
No.
You always spoke like Roger, did you?
No, I was always timid.
You were always timid?
No, I was worse.
But did you have that South London accent in those days?
I don't know. I don't think I did. I went to Rada.
Oh, that would straighten you out. I mean, like, in diction and...
Voice production.
Voice production, all that sort of thing.
Singing lessons.
Oh, we can get on to that in a
moment. We have a great deal in common. You know, we both nearly had a singing career.
I'd like to get you playback. Right, I wasn't going to touch on that, but I promised to touch on that later. Let's stick with it for a moment. Okay. Right back there, Rada, and your first part. The first acting part, was that right? It was Cleopatra? You had a walk-on part?
No, I wasn't Cleopatra.
No, I didn't think you were.
I walked funny, but I didn't play Cleopatra. I had some friends who were doing crowd work. It was during the war. The last World War.
Yes.
And they were working on a film called Caesar and Cleopatra, and I was taken down and I was issued, with a toga and a spear, and I don't know, maybe my spear was a bit longer than anybody else's, or my toga was a little shorter.
Toga was shorter.
And I was asked if, by the powers to be, if I were an actor, and when they found out I wasn't, did I want to be, then my father came down, he spoke with them and said, could I be supported if I went to Rada? And I went to Rada. No, I didn't get it. They got me into Rada.
Wonderful.
Well, it was during the war, and there were only 4 boys to 16 girls in each class, so they were glad of me.
I was talking to one of your mates, Michael Caine. Huh?
Mr. Micklewhite.
Mr. Micklewhite, yes. And we talked about acting techniques, which he's very into, less is more and all that, and he was talking about... What is your theory on acting? For you personally, your acting technique?
Say the words don't bump into the furniture.
I love that. That's about you,
Andrew. Well, the critics, they come out, sort of the snide remarks, he's only got 2 expressions. I actually have 3, I can put it up, I can put it down, and I can just leave it straight.
What are we talking about?
The eyebrows.
Oh, the eyebrows. So you can lift a left eyebrow and a right eyebrow?
Yeah, I used to before my eyebrows got heavy.
We were talking...
I think I loaned them to Spitting Image.
Michael and I, Mr. Micklewhite and I, were talking about the tough life of you actors, you leading men. I mean, he was telling me how he had to kiss Michelle Pfeiffer for 4 hours, and that's not counting rehearsals. And, I mean, I suppose your job is fraught with these problems. I mean, you as Bond, I mean, all these gorgeous girls. I mean, there must have been guys in the audience watching you who would give anything to be James Bond. Was it as much fun as you seem to be having up there?
Yeah, most days.
Did you used to say to Louisa, your wife, I'm going off to work?
Yeah, she'd say, don't enjoy it.
What happened with Aspects of Love? I bought tickets for the opening night.
So did I. And I got my money back.
You weren't there. No. I mean, did you just chicken out? Did you say, I don't want to do this? What am I doing this for? I could be doing a movie and earning a lot more. Let's be honest about this.
I got panicky. I got very frightened. I realised that there was a little more to just singing in the bath and singing in the rain, rather. No, but than singing opera, which is what Aspects was.
Yeah, it's a form of opera.
And I started having nightmares where I had to come in without a bell note.
No.
There was no note to tell me what key, where it was, and 4 other people were going to have to sing after me, and they had to take what I was going to sing. And I remember when I did pantomime years and years ago, playing King and Jack and the Beanstalk, and I had to sing Another Bride, Another June, and the cast used to get the pianist, buy him drinks in the pub next door, and say, play another note. And so he was a drunk, he loved it, he'd get all these drinks, and so he played different notes, and so he would go bong, and I would go, Another Bride. And in fact, Jimmy James stole my act. Nobody remembers Jimmy James.
You didn't have
but
a lot
you do.
Oh, of course I do. You're putting around there, I'm buying all that stuff. Let's talk about your homes. You have homes, 3 homes, don't you? One in America, one here, and one in Switzerland.
Yeah.
Actually, Switzerland is your main home.
Yes.
How are the Swiss? Do you get on with the Swiss?
Very well. They like me because I don't yodel.
Well, I'm told you've got a sense of humour. It's pretty obvious that their sense of humour is not exactly stretched.
Oh, the Swiss do have a sense of humour.
Yeah.
You know what? You know why they don't swim very well?
Why?
Well, when they do the breaststroke, they go like this. Well, they're all bankers.
They're all bankers, you see. Where you live in Stade, right?
Yeah.
Is that where you met Audrey Hepburn?
No, Audrey and I actually modelled together in about 1950.
You modelled? I wasn't going to mention the knitting patterns. I was told you weren't thrilled about.
No, not for knitting patterns. We modelled. I think it was for some cold cream, and she didn't have spots, or I didn't have spots, and I was looking over her shoulder, or she was looking over mine, and it was one of those things. And over the years we became friends, and then she became a neighbour in Switzerland, and she.
Is that she inveigled you? Is that how she inveigled you into UNICEF?
Into UNICEF, yeah, because I first realised she was not part of UNICEF at that time, but she would call me and she would say, listen, the children are having a race, would you come? They'd be thrilled if you came, you know, you're James Bond, would you come and give the prizes? And I say, sure I would. She was always wanting to do things for children.
Thank you for taking all the... You took a lot of problems to get here today. Land, sea and air. I think you've come everything bar camel, haven't you, to get here today?
Tried that too.
Ladies and gentlemen, Roger Moore. Lovely to talk. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Moore.